right, first meal of the day, my sort of breakfast slash pre-workout meal. Typically I'd like to go for a walk first thing in the morning, but it was raining, so I decided to eat this first, let this sit for about an hour and a half, let it digest, and then we'll start heading to the gym for a pull day it is today, or back day predominantly. But we have deadlifts back in the routine, so extremely excited for that. Haven't deadlifted in probably 2-3 years, and it's a lift I sort of always had fun with. So that little drink I made in the morning, I have every single morning in a fasted state, literally just 5 grams glutamine, 5 grams not creatine, 5 grams EAAs. Glutamine, for those who don't know, is just really good for improving overall digestion, improving the gut lining. It gets depleted with heavy exercise. So for someone like a bodybuilder or wannabe bodybuilder, excellent addition. Just make sure you have it in a fasted state for the most optimal results. I'll also have it in my intra-workout because it does get depleted during training. But fasted in the morning, fasted pre-bed is your best timing for that. Changing my dietary approach as well a little bit now. As you guys know, I've been struggling with the binging coming out of this deficit. So I've been doing a little bit of research, listening to a few podcasts, and it seems to be beneficial even from a growth perspective in the sort of off season, utilizing carbohydrates when you need them most to bring up your lagging body parts and things like that. But it's also going to help me adhere to my diet a lot better. So I'm going to be having 2 high carb days on my leg days, which is obviously where I need the most emphasis. Then the other 3 training days, which is, back, chest, back, is just going to be 3100, which is currently just my base diet, which I'm struggling on. And then I'll have 2 rest days where I'm eating 2000 calories. I can get away with that because I'm literally not moving on the rest days. I'm not really having any high output. So I'll just make that a little bit higher of a protein day, increase the food volume with, veggies and stuff like that, and maybe a little bit higher fat as well. But that approach both allows me to be like, okay, look, I have these 2 days where I can just sort of not pig out, I'm still going to eat clean, but I get a bit more food. I'm going to look forward to those days. I'm going to be able to stick to the rest of the days. 3100 is still a good amount of calories on those 3 other days. And then those 2 days, that'll just be a walk in the park because, as I said, I have something to actually look forward to. Lots of sort of evidence about those low days improving or help improve insulin sensitivity, which for those of you who don't know, extremely important. Lots of bodybuilders in the off season will just eat copious amounts of food and then just get insulin resistant, start getting fat. And that's just counterproductive to muscle growth. So you want to stay as lean as possible, as insulin sensitive as possible. And doing something like that carb/calorie cycling approach will help that. So that's the plan there. All right, that's a wrap on the meal. We will go for our little morning walk now and then head to the gym for back. For those of you that care, this is my collection with Keep That Pump. If you want to cop, use code TONINO. Number one thing I can sort of say with your digestion and overall gut health is if you have the opportunity between meals, you have your meal, go for a 10-minute walk. It's just going to improve that digestion. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Obviously, I'm going on a little bit longer of a walk this morning, but 10 minutes is literally all it takes. And it does make a world of difference. I know I was struggling with bloating and things like that. So 10 minutes post-meal, little strut, just get your steps in, and that's just going to improve that motility significantly. So if you're struggling with that, it's a little tip for you. Good shit. All right, little insight to the current sort of cycle and PED protocol we're following. Obviously, taking bodybuilding a little bit more serious now. So hopefully chase that pro card one day. Unlikely, but we'll see. As you guys know, I was on TRT for the longest time. So that was the initial thing. And then the next move from there was upping it to 250 per week. But yeah, we got the bloods done at 250. Everything was good. Estrogen was managed really well. Everything else completely clear. So the next move from there was upping it to 375 per week. I've been doing that for about 2 weeks now. So I'll get bloods in 2 weeks. And then that'll sort of tell us whether we, add more, whether it's more tests or add a secondary compound to drive anabolism and manage estrogen. But just depends what that sort of estrogen number says there too, and also how we're responding. If you know I'm growing a significant amount on this dose, there's no real need to up it. A lot of people think more is better, and that's sort of generally in life in general. So particularly when it comes to anabolics, more is not always better. More is better to a certain degree, but it's obviously going to come with deleterious sides with your health and making that management harder as well. So as little as you can to produce the greatest reward is how we're approaching things.
Constantly like asking God, like, is this for me? Is this savory?
That was a nice shot.
That's a little sign in the...
What little sign?
That big sign.
Do I have to keep filming now?
Morning. Alright, here we are. Obviously got our back session today. Told you guys I haven't deadlifted in like 2-3 years, so this will be interesting. Last time I sort of threw my back out doing it. Not really threw it out, but it was just shit form. So not going to go as heavy as I have in the past, most likely, and just make sure the form's actually solid. So we'll see how we go. I've always been kind of a shit deadlifter. All right, felt pretty good there, I think. So I think the goal is a little bit narrower of a stance. In the past, I'd go a bit wider, but that feels a lot better. All right, so we've done 2 warm-up sets here, loaded up. What's this, 25, 50? What's maths? 75, 150, 170. Fuck, I don't know how that's gonna go. We'll see. No, fuck that. Too heavy to start with. First week back deadlifting, so I'm gonna be careful. Might drop it down to 150 and do a set there. Yeah. They felt better. Yeah. It was like, I don't know, I felt like the last like 3, I got like that there and it just like went straight push. Yeah. Yeah, sweet. No, they felt good. Thanks, bro. Oh, that felt good. So slowly work my way back up to what I used to pull, which was, I think my best was 220 for 3 or 4, something like that. Obviously a lot lighter now. That was 140 for about 10 or 11. But yeah, it's a fun lift to have back in the program. Just need to get fitter. Like we just did deadlifts, moved on to this. We're going to do 4 sets. First set's like a little bit tougher of a warm up. So 10 reps there, probably like 6 to 7 reps in reserve for this one. And then we'll move into 3 heavier sort of working sets, 2 heavy, and then that last set, drop the load about 25%. Just really make sure we're actually feeling the back in that last one. So 3 sets here. All right, so first working set here. See what the load feels like. I haven't actually used this machine before, but coach prescribed a sort of high row, so. Very nice actually. It's sort of a mix between lat and getting a little bit of upper back. Trying to focus on after the session with Cam, really sort of pulling everything up, expanding like this and then pulling through. So good first set there. Three sets done there. Didn't end up doing that 25% reduction because I probably went a little bit too heavy. So we got 12, 12, 10. Now we're moving on to I believe it's a lat pullover, but I'll check the programming. Good session so far though. Those deads, I'm fucking glad they're back in the program because I've told you guys before I struggled to feel connecting to my back, but my whole fucking back was fried after that. So should come up really well in this growth phase. Oh, there we go, that's better. I'm fucking tired. My eye was twitching before, you know, when I get tired. First two sets, just trying to load the fuck up, make sure we're getting that retraction, go as heavy as possible. And then the last set, we'll do a little bit more cute, making sure we're driving and squeezing the back. Not that I'm not on these sets, but just trying to get a mix of both worlds, best of both worlds, like Hannah Montana said. All right, here we are. Great session overall, to be honest. I'm so stoked with the inclusion of the deadlifts. I was saying before, it's probably one of my favorite lifts. And they went really well. I know the weight isn't near what I used to do. Like I used to pull like 220, as I said, for a couple, whatever. But the sensation in my back was fucking ridiculous. Like I felt every inch of my back firing up, which is really reassuring, especially because it's a body part I want to bring up. So come home now, have my post-workout meal. My next meal is going to be the exact same. It's literally just like 375 grams of potato or Spud Light to be exact. We've got 75 grams uncooked rice, beetroot, 150 grams of chicken and mixed vegetables. So this is the same as the next meal. And then my last meal is going to be pretty much identical, just with sort of a little bit more tomato, cucumber, and then some beef mince. I'm doing kangaroo mince at the moment until I figure things out with the meal prep company I'm going to be working with, and then it's going to be beef. But yeah, that's the meal. Keen to dig in, quite hungry at the moment, which is always a good sign. You want to be hungry for your meals. You don't want to be stuffing your face. That's sort of a sign that you're probably eating too much. But yeah, everything's trending extremely well at the moment. I'm probably the most content I've ever been in my life. I feel like I have a real sense of direction now. Like I want to take this bodybuilding thing as far as I can, obviously while maintaining my health, but it's just given me this fucking spark under my ass. And every day I'm just like, okay, I've got this goal. As I've said to you, I want to compete in Classic. The amateur weight cap is like 103 kilos for me at my height. So I literally have almost 20 kilos of muscle to put on. So if you think about that, my physique at the moment with an extra 20 kilos, I think I can be pretty competitive. So that's the plan there. For you guys out there listening, I urge you to find something you have extreme passion for in life. I think it's probably one of the most important things. And I think I have found that for me. And maybe it's not going to last forever, but at the moment it's just, as I said, giving me this spark and direction. So find your thing. It might not have to be the gym. It could be business. It could be something else physical. But once you sort of have that thing and everything else outside of your life sorted, you know, I've got a beautiful partner, beautiful dog, everything just flows a lot better and you can live a lot happier of a life. So that's where I'm at the moment. Another massive thing I'm seeing on the internet recently with people's diets and stuff is like the whole, if it fits your macros and whatever style of eating. I think it's genuinely bullshit. Like, stick to your clean foods, stick to things are whole foods, are gonna, reap great results. Your body's gonna digest them properly, utilize that shit properly. I was talking to Cam about it. Obviously he eats a lot of sloppy food. Look how big that guy is. It's a different story when you're, 120 kilos and your body needs all this excess food. Like, if he was to eat just this, dude, he would have to be eating like 10 times the amount I'm eating. So it's understandable when you're sort of at that level of musculature, but getting to that point, eat well, man. It's pretty simple. You're going to eat well, your body's going to respond well, and you feel better for it too. Like, as soon as I got a taste of, I was talking about in my last video when I binged, as soon as I got a taste of like rubbish food, there was just no off switch. And that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to make your brain be like, okay, dopamine, and just eat more and more and more until you feel like literally throwing up. So that's just going to be extremely counterproductive for your goals, especially if you're trying to stay lean, stay insulin sensitive. Eat real food. And another thing with that is, obviously we're in a growth phase now. When you're in a growth phase, the objective is to extend that growth phase as long as you physically can. Like, obviously the longer you allocate time to grow in a, calorie surplus, the more muscle you're going to grow. Like, simply put, it just is what it is. So a way to make sure that you can extend that is not gaining too much body fat, making sure, again, we're eating whole foods so our body's utilizing that period as effectively as possible. If I was to do, if it fits your macros, sure, I would grow over this growth phase, no doubt about it, because it's a calorie surplus. You can't really argue with thermodynamics, but I would not be able to control my appetite, number one. I don't know how good the nutrient partitioning would be. So maybe that growth phase, that if I was to eat clean foods, maybe that's going to be like, let's say a 6-month, even maybe 12-month growth phase. If I was to eat dirty, maybe that gets shortened down to 3 months, 6 months. So we want to extend that growth phase as long as possible. All right, guys, I'm going to finish the rest of this meal. Enjoy it. Watch some of Fuad Abiyad's podcast. If you guys don't watch him, I highly recommend it. And then go for my post-workout walk with the dog, probably do some editing. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for tuning in.